While I was in the process of performing building material estimates, or lumber takeoffs, for residential and commercial buildings, I was searching for a faster way to relate to spans suggested by the various lumber organizations for a ceiling joist and floor joist. I wanted a way that I could see the suggested spans right on my scale ruler. Over time, I developed the PTEST ruler, or PT estimating ruler, which is currently protected by a design patent and is pictured here. This is the first page of the design patent documents, which shows the basic information about the patent. The design patent for the ruler was granted on May 14, 2013. Here is a drawing of the ruler that was included in the patent documents. For purposes of illustration and clarity, I will call this the PTEST ruler, short for PT estimating ruler. This PTEST ruler uses features of the PT ruler, which ruler has a utility patent and which is explained in another section of this website. A document relating to the features of both rulers was registered as a copyrighted document on January 16, 2012, and is shown here. The document illustrates the superior view orientation, scale arrangement, scale color, and scale font of the architectural ruler. The relationship of the scales to each other is shown here. Shown on this page are the ceiling joist, floor joist, and 16-inch on center scales, and how they are positioned on the ruler. An explanation of how these scales are used will follow. As you can see, the scale of the ruler is 1/4 inch equal a foot. On the scale are two separate bars, colored from left to right as red, orange, green, blue, purple, and dark green. The source of span ratings. The source of the span ratings is to be listed on a span chart grid, similar to the one you see here. For example, for a 2x12 floor joist, the maximum span is listed as 18 foot 10 inches, and the source is the empirical design values of the Southern Pine Council. On the scale are two separate bars, colored from left to right as red, orange, green, blue, purple, and dark green. The upper bar is for floor joist. The lower bar is for ceiling joist. The upper bar reflects the spans that are suggested for floor joist. The red portion of the bar reflects what 2x4s will span. The orange what 2x6s will span. The green for 2x8s, the blue for 2x10s, the purple for 2x12s, and the dark green for 14-inch and 16-inch I-joist, or engineered lumber. And so, for example, let's say we're reading the 15-foot dimension on the 1/4 inch scale. If we look at the upper bar directly above, we see that the color of the bar is blue, which means that the floor joist should be a 2x10. As another example, let's say we're reading the 24-foot dimension on the 1/4 inch scale. If we look at the upper bar directly above the 24-foot dimension, we see that the color of the bar is dark green with a number 16, which means that the floor joist should be a 16-inch engineered I-joist. The lower bar reflects the spans that are suggested for ceiling joists. Please note that these ceiling joists are not to be used as floor joists for the second floor. The red portion of the bar reflects what 2x4s will span. The orange, what 2x6s will span. The green for 2x8s. The blue for 2x10s. The purple for 2x12s. And finally, the dark green reflects the suggested spans for 14-inch and 16-inch I-joist. That's engineered lumber. And so, for example, let's say we're reading the 15-foot dimension on the quarter-inch scale. If we look at the lower bar at the 15-foot dimension, we see that the color of the bar is green, which means that the ceiling joist should be a 2x8. As another example, let's say we're reading the 24-foot dimension on the quarter-inch scale. If we look at the lower bar at the 24-foot dimension, we see the color of the bar is purple, which means that the floor joist should be a 2x12. For convenience, a 16-inch on center scale is placed at the top of the ruler, which is a handy rule for counting the number of joists required at 16-inch on center spacing. For instance, if we had a room that was 12 foot, we would look above and see that we need 10 joists. That would be at a 16-inch on center spacing. And that includes the one to start with. In addition to the quarter-inch scale, there are also the 3/16 inch scale and the 1/8 inch scale included on the other sides of the ruler, enabling one to see the suggested spans on all three scales.